everybody for coming out today. The reaffirmation of what's just is apparent in your faces, and I'm happy you're all here. The judge issued a decision today which turns on one issue, which is summarized in his decision at page 3. After recognizing the perils of global warming and not associating himself with those who deny its extraordinary impacts, and this decision does not deny those extraordinary impacts. In fact, the judge goes on at some length about the credibility which he adduces to those who spoke on behalf of the six. The judge says, quote, "To warrant deviation from the general rule that transgression of the criminal law will not be tolerated, the threat to public or private injury must be about to occur. The requirement that the impending injury be imminent," in quotes, and about to occur, in quotes, denotes an impending harm which constitutes a present, immediate threat, a danger that is actual and at hand, not that is speculative, abstract, or remote. So, I think it's fair to say the judge listened to part of the testimony. That is that part of the testimony which established, as the judge explains, that this plant will contribute 10% of the contaminants, as he puts it, greenhouse gas emissions in New York State. That would be significant and contrary to New York State's policies on global warming, which he credits, but he finds that this threat was not met, if you will, by the actions of these defendants because the threat was not imminent. This was the battleground the people laid out in the trial. They put up a photograph showing that at the time these six acted, the facility was at its nascent stages. It was not yet operational. And I assume that the decision says that civil disobedience might well be justified at a later stage in the development of the plant, rather than as early as these folks decided to engage in that civil disobedience. That's the only, frankly, way to harmonize the recognition of the profound impacts of global warming, which this decision does embody, with the finding that there is no defense because of the timing of their action. So, my suggestion to those of you who feel strongly about this issue is that you take comfort in the decision and act accordingly.
Well,
Does anyone else want to say anything? I have to go back and do depositions, unfortunately, in another case. Then I have to travel to Albany to do an argument in the appellate court. There is an appeal from this decision, just to get into a bit more technical discussion, to the appellate term, which operates out of Brooklyn, New York. It is not the appellate division. This is a justice court in a town, and the appeal goes to the appellate term in the second department, which is where we're situated. And the group will decide whether they want to take that appeal based on this record, and whether they want to seek a stay of what amounts to $375 each in sanction imposed by the court. I'm sorry the community service was not imposed. I thought that we had an alternative suggestion for that that was meaningful. Okay, does anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to say something briefly. I'm Naomi Miller. As to imminence, we saw some smoke beginning to come in a house, and the fire had not yet started. And we showed up with whatever kind of paraphernalia we could find to put out the fire, and we tried our best, and so have all of you been trying your best. And the fact that the fire has not yet been put out and has grown does not mean it can't be put out. And I encourage all of us to keep up with our fire hoses.
First of all, I want to thank our attorney, Michael Sussman, for doing such an extraordinary job, for being the voice of the people and always standing by us. He is one of the few people in Orange County that came to our aid, that came to our defense. right from the very beginning, and he is such an important asset resource for all of us in Orange County, and we have to remember that and thank him for that. And
Yay, Michael. Yes.
I want to thank all of you for the support. I know the decision was demoralizing, but it was not at all a surprise to me, especially given the relationship between Judge McElduff and the local Republican network and committee here. And the fact that we know CPV has been giving them all a lot of money and support in many ways. You know, I thought perhaps the testimony would compel him to think about his own children and his own grandchildren, but I guess money is always, you know, for some people more important than their own children's lives. I can't explain that, but that seems to be the case for many of these people. But I want to speak to the question of imminence because, as Michael said, the judge obviously did not pay attention to the testimony. This project is a clear and present danger to us all right now. People are getting sick right now in Minisink. Yeah. And if they think we're stupid and we don't know that the Minisink compressor station is an integral component of the CPV Valley power plant, then, you know, then the joke's on them, because we know that compressor station was built for this power plant. We know that they're sitting around waiting for that lateral pipeline connection. They put the cart before the horse. They don't have the permit for that lateral pipeline. So I hope all of you will stay on board and not give up. We have a really good group of people here. We can stop this. We have enough of us here. Don't think we need thousands and thousands of people. We can do this. We're going to get on a bus. We're going to go to Albany. We're going to hold our aspiring climate leader, Governor Cuomo, responsible for this. You cannot approve a 650 megawatt frac gas power plant and still proclaim yourself to be a climate leader. I'm sorry. It's just, it's too inconsistent, and, you know, it's not going to fly. And so Governor Cuomo needs to step up and do the right thing and shut this project down. I thought the fine was completely unreasonable, again, given the testimony and given the fact that he knew we were doing this for the public benefit, for the health and safety of us all. So that was a slap in the face to all of us. So we are going to have to do some fundraising if that fine sticks. We will appeal it, of course. But, you know, it's not over till it's over. And even if it's built, even if it's operational, if something is poisoning you, you have every right to continue to demand it be shut down. So we're not gonna stop. We're not giving up. I'm not gonna sell my house and leave. You know, we're gonna monitor the air quality. We're gonna prevent it from becoming operational. We're gonna prevent that lateral pipeline from getting a permit. But I promise you, we are not going to give up.
Thank you all for being here. Michael made a comparison in the trial between what happened in the civil rights movement and our case, which was...
Louder, please.
Michael made a statement, a comparison in the trial between our case and what happened in the South during the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement did not begin in 1963. It didn't begin with Rosa Parks. It began a long time ago. People broke the law because they had to break the law, because it was right to break the law.
Yeah.
That they drank at that drinking fountain that said white only because it was necessary that they have a drink. And for many, many years, the court system said to that is a crime. No. You have violated the law. But at some point, the absurdity of that came home to some judge or some jury, and they said, wait a minute, this makes no sense at all. This decision by this judge makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not the last time that this defense will be used, and at some point, I hope in the very near future, some judge or some jury will recognize that we are imperiled, that we are doing these actions out of our love for humanity and our caring for this planet. and they will overturn this.
Yes.
I will not. I will not pay this fine. I will go to jail. I don't care, and I will appeal.
Yes.
This is not over. Thank you. And thank you, Michael.
Anything else, Maddie?
I just want to thank you all for your wonderful support. Everything's been said here that needed to be said. Just for the record, we didn't stop traffic. We were in the driveway, so we didn't obstruct. If they wanted to, they could go a mile back where they got their dirt and stayed there till we were finished. So we did not do any of that. We do have a picket every Saturday from 11 to noon. And we would appreciate it if you would spread the word, come yourself if you can. The more people out there, the better. And we will make a dent. I am with Pramila all the way. We will not stop fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, bless us all, everybody.
Bless us all.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank
Stop
you.
CPV.
Stop CPV!
Cuomo.
Stop CPV! Cuomo! 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 Stop CPV!
Cuomo!
Stop CPV. Cuomo. Stop CPV. Thank you all. See you Saturday.
All right.
See you in Albany. Stay in the fight.
All right.
Minutes.